Welcome to the Outside the Business Boxes podcast, where we're talking about how to ignite your business today for the future using systems for everything you do in your business to make your life, your employees' lives, and your customers' lives easier for you to ultimately enjoy your business and, of course, make more money. I'm your host, Chad Murray. Thank you for joining Outside the Business Box podcast. Just go get yourself in trouble and listen at your own risk, because I am Chad, your host today. So guys, we got a fun subject today. We are digging in to risk management. What is risk? The definition of risk. A situation involving exposure to danger. Exposure to danger, harm, or loss. He risked his life to save his dog. I'm just reading this off the Google, and the simple definition of risk, and we'll read it here: possibility of loss or injury, peril, someone or something that creates or suggests a hazard, the chance of loss or the perils of the subject matter of an insurance contract, also the degree of probability of such loss. Risk. All right. I'm in the middle of a risk situation right now, which I'll be discussing here in a little bit. Financial risk thing. But I wanted to go back a little bit and talk a little bit about risk. For one thing, if you're going to take a risk, the best way to understand risk is this. Is the bigger the risk is, correct? Think about this now. The bigger the risk is the bigger and the greater the reward, correct? So if you're going to take a risk, go for it, because that reward is going to be there. So let me tell you what I mean by that. All of you listening, most of you have started your own business. So you risked your finances off of your own sweat. Some of you that are general managers or just employees, you risked to go work for a company, to quit another company, to see if this was worth it and they were going to give you any value. You risked that. You didn't know if it was going to pay off financially for you. Okay, so we think about this risk. Is it going to 10x, 2x, 3x my outcome, my finances? What's the risk factor? I don't like to take risks unless it's pretty close to a 3x risk. If I'm putting in this amount, I better get this much out of it. And then you have your home runs where they're 10 plus X, in reward. As I've gotten older, my risk factor has gone way down. I'm okay with the 2x or 3x versus when I was younger, I was going for 100x type of risks. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, if you're going to risk something, your heritage can kind of help you out, or how you grew up or who you were. So I was at a wedding this weekend, my daughters, number 2, Madeline, congratulations, and Donovan. And so they got married. So we're sitting there, and I have got family. I've got half my company, all my management there, friends, and we're all talking. And I'm talking about with my brother and my cousin and my CFO, David, about a risk that I'm about to do, financial risk. And I'll get into it after I tell you something here in a second. So we're talking about the risk, and my brother just starts to laugh. He had heard something. He goes, "Oh, you're talking about you're okay, since we grew up the way we did, of being old poor." And I go, "What do you mean old poor?" And he goes, "Yeah, new people nowadays don't get what old poor is versus new poor." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, we grew up old poor. We grew up in a trailer in Wisconsin, where we had nothing. I mean, we had just enough to be able to live what looked like a normal life. But honestly, I mean, turned 16, we had to work. We wanted a gas in the car, we had to work. And so mom and dad couldn't afford. They were lucky enough to give us a car. We had to pay our own insurance, our own everything else. So through sports and around sports, I had to have a job. And I did. So that, I grew up pretty, not having a whole lot of stuff, but I had enough of what I wanted. But that's old poor. New poor, is somebody that can't afford a new iPhone, or somebody who, if they lose everything, they probably honestly don't really know what losing everything really means. And so that's new poor. So when it comes to risk, I've been old poor, so I, I have no problem going for broke because I've been really old poor. I've been there. And now with the wisdom I have now and I look at this stuff, I'm not that afraid to take on a bigger risk. However, the opposite occurs as you get older. You learn with your wisdom how risky something is and is it a smart risk or not. Yes, it might be a 10x reward, but is it such a risky deal that achieving the 10x percentage is low? So you have to outweigh, am I going to take a risk that has a more higher probability of becoming a success than what I used to do? Yes. So let me tell you my situation. So 26 years in business. I am a money hoarder. I stock cash. I don't have any investments except for my cabin property. None. We have none. I invest in myself and keep it as cash. I've built up a very big wad of cash. Now, I mean, it's in the bank, so don't come rob me. It's not sitting under my pillow. But we have a pretty significant amount of money. And so it's really to the point where it's not making me money and it needs to make me some money. So I found a property that I could move my business into. And it's 5 acres. It's only 5 miles away from where I'm at now, which is, 5 minutes away. It's got buildings. It's going to take a little bit of work to get it up to speed, but it'll be mine. And it's a potential income property even beyond master services. So it's just great opportunity. Well, we found conventional. Going the conventional route. I have to pay my big high tax bill. I'm gonna have to pay a big chunk of money down. And it's just, I just will. Is it rewarding enough to do this way? Well, it was gonna cut my cash resources down into half, and that really, really scares me. And so we then found another loan, which is called the Dscr loan. I'll say it again for everyone who doesn't know what it says, so you'll remember at the end. A Dscr loan. What is that? That is a typical non-QM debt service coverage ratio loan. Allows a borrower to qualify for a mortgage based on cash flow generated from the investment property through a rental, for example. I'll just tell you. So I'm buying the property. Masters will rent the property from me, even though it's really Masters property, right? So is the rental potential going to more than cover the payment? So since it will, and if I put down 30% of the asking price, they don't even go make me pay my taxes off, or like a normal conventional loan would. They don't go off of qualifying and going through your debt to ratio. They do none of that because they know if you're putting 30% down and you can rent the thing out for more than what the payment is, they already know they got you in equity. So if you default, they got a property at 30% and they can take the thing back and probably flip it and make money right away. So it's in everybody's best interest. So all they have to do is come up with 30% and prove, and then we have to get a survey. Not a survey. Well, we still got to get a survey, but we got to get the property assessed to see if the rental potential is what it is. And we already know it will, so that was easy. And so it all works out fine for me. So what's the risk? Well, it sounds like a no-brainer, right? Well, the risk to me is I'm very comfortable with having a lot of money in the bank that's just sitting there and not doing anything for me. And I'm about to take my comfortability and cut it in half. Well, I mean, as you know, the last 2 years, other than last fall, from August until essentially right now, and it has slowed down for us right now, back to normal, hopefully when things come back, we will continue our excellence. But that's the risk factor here. So here's my risk. Number one is we had a great fall, best year ever. We made up $1 million in the fall over that had the best year ever. The beginning of the year was total shit, and we lost a ton of money that we made back up. COVID, 2020 and 2020 and half of 21 were total shit years for me. And so is that done? We got a war going on in Ukraine. We got World War III. We just had Iran throw rockets at the Iraqi U.S. embassy, or at least close to it. And I got all this stuff going on, right? Do I want to take half my money and put it into a property? Well, when we've also got and I hate to tell you, I'm sorry if you're listening to my podcast, you don't believe my political beliefs, but this president is a complete moron. And so where is the country going to continue? And having a wad of cash in there keeps me satisfied that no matter what happens, I'll be safe. Well, if I go buy this property long run, that's the way to go, right? It's an investment property. I will make money from renting it back to myself, and I'll have this investment, and it'll be eating itself, paying itself off to where it's a 100% investment in the future for me. But the risk factor is what the world is right now, and I'm losing half my cash. So now the good thing came through is that we don't have to pay my tax bill off. So that saves me I'll just let it out there. I owe a little over $100,000 in taxes from last year. So we have a larger company. So yes, that's taking off everything we got. It's okay. I don't mind taking and paying something off. Well, I thought before last night, I found out, that I don't have to pay my taxes off for this loan. Okay, so that's another $100,000 I have to keep. I can start making payments on it. And of course, I'll have it paid off by fall, or at least I'll pay it off during this fall when we're smacking busy. But I want to make sure that through the summer, I've got cash. So now there's a positive thing. I don't have to pay that bill off. So the risk factor for me went down a little bit. For the reward is a little bit better for this property. So as you look at this, it's like, okay, everyone looks at me, well, where's the real risk? Because, well, I come from old poor. Old poor is you didn't live from paycheck to paycheck because you borrowed from your last paycheck. So you're actually in the negative from your old paycheck. That was me. I mean, it was crazy how much money I'd usually owe out of my next paycheck to, for gas or from someone, my mom or whoever, even in high school, that's how I lived. And so I know what old poor is. So as you relate this to, I run a $4 million service company. I have a coaching business that is almost pure profit that does a lot of clients I service. So I really shouldn't have this risk factor, but old poor creeps into my head every day. I still have cash anxieties, even with the money I have in there. I still look and watch my business and we're having a hard time where I have these anxieties because I don't want to go back to old poor. Now, here's the one thing about risk factors, something that I thought about last night after about 15 beers. I'm sitting there thinking about old poor, laughing about that. And I'm like, you know what? I've said this before on the podcast, but I was thinking about it last night. If I ever had to go to old poor again, I know my wisdom would put me out of old poor fast. I could bootstrap and get back on my feet. If I ever even got there, probably wouldn't even ever have that happen. I'm not going to say never because never is a bad statement. Ask the Titanic. I think that if I ever did, come close to old poor, I could go right up to where I am now, probably even faster because of the wisdom I have on how to start and run a business and especially a chimney business. I mean, no brainer. But, we're sitting here looking at the risk reward of should I do this? And I kept calling David, my CFO, can we do this loan? Can we do this loan? Because I want him to be comfortable, right? I don't want to put anyone, that we're dealing with the finances in my company and ask what they think or not ask what they think. And then we do it and they're like, this is a stupid decision. So I made sure I went through the proper channels of the guys that run my cash. Is this a good decision? And out 100% everyone said so. Yes, everyone that I know I've asked and talked about it, they're all like, yes, this is stupid. You need to put your money into an investment, not sitting in the bank. And so we're buying a property. So the deal got accepted. We actually paid our something down on Friday, like $7,000 or $8,000, and here we go. We're on a venture to buying a property. And so, okay, how to identify and assess risks? Okay, so if anything is going to cost you something, and you're not going to get a reward out of it if it's, whatever, you've got to have a risk reward relationship with any decision you're going to make. So that brings me to service companies. Okay. I've been saying this and I'm never going to stop. I'm on a mission to guys that have less than 5 trucks. And this keeps going up because the guys at 5 to 10 trucks start getting this. But especially, let's say under 10 trucks, you have got to always have people in training. You cannot, you know what I hear about people is they hire someone or they tell me about someone new in their company that they just hired and how awesome they are and how great they're going to be in your company. And to me, I put zero stock into that statement until they've proved it. Until they've proven they are what they say they are. They're nothing to me in the respect of talking about them and how great they are. Meaning they may very well be exactly how you feel. But I can also tell you there are people out there that are perfect interviewers that will not show up to be who they are, or they flip who they are after 3 or 4 months or 6 months, whatever. So really, I get so tired of hearing that this is the solution. So what the solution is, never stop hiring. Always have someone to back up somebody in training, no matter what. Now, when you find someone that you think is the end all of your business is going to help you, and as soon as he's trained, this is where people go wrong. This is the part they get wrong. Found this guy, he's great. Let's just say he's a chimney in the chimney business. He can sell. This guy's, he's been in construction. He's sold cars. He's always had good jobs. He's done this, and for whatever reason, he's going to come work for us, whatever, and which is always a red flag to me. But okay, so he is solving the problems. Well, as soon as you get him trained, you don't go hire someone to back him up. So when you find out in a month, maybe even a year or whatever, this guy's not what you thought. Let's say he's not. He may be. But here's my point. This is the whole point. I need you service people to understand. Even if he's good or even if he's terrible in the future, if he's good, he's building, making you money, so you're going to grow. So you're going to need someone to continue. You're going to need another salesman anyway. Okay? If he's bad, you need someone to replace him. So either way, and if he's average, he's not good. If he's average, he sucks. This is another great point. If you're average and you have settled on mediocrity, you're failing. This is where I hear a lot of people. Mediocrity is failing, guys. I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to elaborate on this. You're in the business of people. You service people. Okay? As you go to get out of trucks, now you're letting your people service the customers. You're now servicing your employees. You become a full-time servicing of of your employees, and you are always trying to find better employees. Now, I don't mean when you have a good employee, you're not trying to find someone to replace them, but you are trying to find someone who can. Okay? You are always trying to hire someone. And even if when you really cannot afford to hire anyone else, you still keep a small budget in your yearly thing to keep an hiring ad out there, because you don't know if you don't, let's say you don't do masonry, or at least big time masonry. If you keep an ad out, maybe a mason will answer that ad. Let's say you need a gas guy. Let's say a guy who's an electrician decides he wants to come into the gas business and wants to do it, or he's an AC guy who works on millivolt stuff and different things and stuff. I actually know a guy who hired a guy out of the AC business who passed the gas NFI like really quick because he knew all about that stuff. I mean, and so you don't know what you're going to find, but you always need to staff right. The risk of not staffing right is why you stay in the complete, like, why can I not get ahead? Why can I not get out of a truck? You have got to hire to get out of a truck. You have got to take that risk. And you're gonna hire some shitty people. And you got to keep hiring to find the gems, the diamonds in the roughs. I got to tell you guys, we went through that transformation. We made that 900,000 on top of the $1 million we normally do in the fall last year. So last June, we'd hired six guys. Not one of them work for me now. It's March 13th. Not even a year later, not one of those guys work for me now. We hired a couple people through the season that did stay. We've got 3 guys that stayed that we hired late. We're talking October, November, and December to replace these people. So as soon as these guys went out on the field and started selling like awesome, ended up being all culture sucking people, essentially, not doing their job, or their numbers started to tank. And then we hired Marty. Thank you, Marty. Cody and Marty. Then Cody would always be training, but he'd be selling. And then Marty all of a sudden goes out and starts pulling a 2,000 SBO. A couple other guys doing around 1,000 that were actually good salesmen and could grow. Ended up being a culture suck on us. And so we ended up getting rid of them. And we had a couple guys that couldn't hit their numbers. So here we were back to hiring. We've been hiring we never stopped. We've continued. And the way we look at it, I keep calling, when I talk to my management team, Cody Martys. We need Cody Martys. We need more Cody Martys. And then hopefully I'll say we need Cody Marty Johns. And it may take, hey guys, I don't know how long this takes. I don't know how long it's going to take before I have 5 Cody Marty, John, Steve, Joshes. I don't know when I have that 100% culture-driven, great sales inspector, shows up on time, does everything the way Master says, and loves my company, and I'm giving back to him. I will keep looking for that guy. So when I find that guy, those 5 guys that are working Dallas and hopefully Houston and Oklahoma City, when I find those 5 guys, what's my company going to do? Well, it's going to double its sales. We'll be a $10 million company when I find these 5 guys, right? So what's that going to mean? Well, I'm probably going to need 3 to 5 more, right? So I'm never going to not stop hiring. I'm in the people business to find people that want to make a good living doing our risky job and be able to do it safely without getting hurt. And so that's what we do. That is what we do. So don't stop hiring. Now, I've said this before, hire the right damn person. Find the disc, do the disc, contact me. I'll help you with disc. Do not hire another person if they don't fit that qualification of that position. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, you are stupid not to do it. Because why would you not pay $35 to find out this person really is going to be great for your business in that position you're putting him in? Wouldn't you rather pay $35 to find out this guy says, let's say you're trying to find a sales guy. The perfect disc for a sales guy is a D in the disc thing, and possibly an I depending on what the other I is with. And so we're looking for DIs, DISs, DICs, DCSs. That's your perfect thing. So if you go to hire somebody for inspections, sweep inspections, or if you're, an AC guy and you're just sending them out on commercial sales, okay, you're taking in apps. This is a big position for you. You're giving a percentage. This is over potential first year $100,000 job, right? You're just going to go off the word that they are a good interview and hire them and find out possibly they're the right people? How stupid does that sound? It's the way we've always done it, right? Well, I have a disc assessment for you that you could literally take the risk out of knowing who they are. Can't fake this test. I can tell you right away if they're going to be a good salesperson right off the bat. I'll send you a link. They'll take the test, and I'll write you up a paragraph that this guy is not good for sales or this guy's a home run on paper. Of course, that's why I said on paper. You never know how people are going to ask, but I would rather find out that the guy I have working for me on paper is a salesman right? He's got the traits of a salesman. So if he comes back as an SC, an S is someone that's really caring and wants to help, and a C is someone that's kind of a coder, paperwork, a scientist type person. Well, they're not salespeople. I mean, yeah, that's not it. So that's why you can find this person. If you want a warehouse guy, you want a C, a S. You want a CS, a guy that's really good with, scientific paperwork and can do all that, and then the S to help people. That's a CS. That's an inventory. That's your warehouse guy. Right? Take the risk out of it is where we're going at this. Take the risk out of who you're hiring. I'm telling you, it'll matter big time. So, okay. The biggest risk I find, other than financial, is the risk, and you hear me and other people talk about this, the risk of not building your business up to at least run without you. It doesn't have to, the one thing I think that's missed here at this point is I'm not training you to retire. You think you are. I am not retired at Master Services, far from it. But I don't have to go there very often, if ever. It's a phone call answer. I'm a visionary, so I'm just giving them things I want them to accomplish and add to the business. And they are now starting to be visionary back to me, and we're building this leadership thing up. But I'm already at that point. So for you, the idea here is I've told you the risk. You have to keep hiring. You got to get to the point where first off, get to the point where you're not selling. To me, that's the easiest thing to do. Get people trained to inspect. Not do the work, inspect. Now we're talking chimneys, people. And so get them to inspect. Possibly get them certified. I like to wait 6 months to a year before I'm going to be getting my guys certified. I want to see that they're worth it before I go out and do it. But yeah, just to get to the point where you find guys to sell. Now you don't have to worry about sales anymore. Now build your team to do the work. Once you got your one great team to do the work, add apprentices to them to where you get them to a certain point where the guy can work 2 to 3 months, gets to know how to do all the easy stuff, and then get him in an easy truck. And then keep adding easy trucks. And as you're building that, you're going to have someone that's now big enough to start doing the bigger work. And this is how you leapfrog and start growing your teams to do that, to where now you're only working on people. Like I said in the beginning, you're in the people business. So you're just hiring and firing and training. That's how you grow your company. And then eventually you built your company to 3-4 million. And now you hire people that do the training and the hiring. Now you get to do whatever you want. You can be a position. You don't have to be a position. You can do what you want. Take the risk of, if you get hurt or if you think that you can't run your business out. Don't have my story where I went bankrupt. Have my story of when I lost my appendix. This is what I'm talking about. 18 years ago, and literally went bankrupt. Had to start my business over again. Be me back in September when I got COVID and almost died and was in the hospital I went a week and I went 10 days at home, couldn't work. Went in the hospital for 21 days, came out of the hospital and could not work again for another 3 to 4 months. But my business had the record 6 months ever while I could not work. And they did not call me. They did not have me in there. I barely did anything with Master Services. During that time, we made up all that money and had an outstanding 2021 end of the year. I wasn't there. I was absent. I was sick. I was convalescing. I was getting better. But I was not there. That's what you want to build your company up to. Now, I could choose right now to go back to my company and grab a truck and go do estimates and inspections. I could choose to hop on a truck to do work. I could choose to go help my general manager. I could fire my general manager and just be that, or demote him if I wanted to. If I want to go work in the call center, I can do it. I want to go be my inventory guy, I can do it. You see where I'm going? I can do whatever I want. No, I chose to become a certified business coach when when my rookie year of coaching, the National Rookie Coach of the Year award, and I've continued to go strong. That was where my passion was. I want to help my own company masters, but I wanted to help other companies do what I did, to be able to have the option to do what I want to do. And that's what you do. So, risk. Okay, here's another thing. Risk of not being compliant on safety. All of us, especially, I don't care what business you're in, but especially if you touch a ladder, you know damn well that when you get up on that ladder, there are times that you do something stupid and you know your risk is there and you know you're being stupid. Stop that. You've got to get as compliant, as if not fully compliant, to where there's no risks. I literally watched a phone call from one of my clients when a guy fell off the roof, or excuse me, the ladder, not the roof. One story, easy roof, fell off a ladder, was in a coma for a month. That happened in November, December. I was on a phone call when his partner came out of the house, saw him on the ground unconscious. That's pretty risky. And by the way, the insurance company, the ex-wife, they're all suing the shit out of the insurance companies and all that kind of stuff. And who knows how far that goes. So you're thinking about it. If you're not compliant and you're on ladders and roofs or doing something and you know you need to be compliant, I am telling you, you will sleep better at night. And that's not an overstatement. You will sleep better at night when that goes away, because you know that you're doing the right thing now. So, but risk is so big with your company, and you don't even know it if you don't know it until you know it. But you honestly feel it. That feeling needs to go away. You need to get better. You need to make yourself understand some of these risks I can take, some of these risks I cannot. Some risks, like the safety thing, you can't keep risking safety. You've got to fix that. Okay? Now, risk financially. I don't know if I did. I feel like my risk in buying this property is solid. So I feel like over time it's the right thing to do. I'm moving my company into its own property. I can do what I want. And I can build a facility that's second to none. And I can run it, and I can get equity in that thing. And all it does is help my business. I can grow and put things where I want it to go, and it's mine. And I have other income properties there. And so I feel that the risk is there to take it to the reward. I don't think I'm ever going back to old poor. I hope I never meet new poor, but the risk is there. And we all every day have it. So guys, with that, thanks for coming. I really want to appreciate everybody who listens to my podcast. It is growing. I've been watching the numbers a little bit, and I'm pretty tickled that what a listenership I'm getting. And I want to tell you guys, I really, really, I wish I knew every one of y'all's names that are listening to me, and I appreciate it. I probably know most of you, but if I don't, reach out, contact me. I am going to go to the NCSG convention. I have a booth. If you have a sale, if you're a chimney company, and I have group 3 starting in April to train your guys on how to sell masonry, how to sell masonry, chimney, all that stuff, and my little systems and stuff, how I do it. Group 2 started. I've already gotten 3 calls from Group 2's owners saying couldn't believe how much an impact was on the first meeting that we had. And second meeting starts on Monday. You're listening to this on Tuesday. It happened last night when you listen to this. And so I'm building people and putting soot in their blood. I'm helping them know their numbers and get through stuff and be what they need to be. And so, and having them actually double, triple their company's finances, which helps everybody. So I can do that for masonry sales. So anyway, if you want to come talk to me in Vegas at the booth, I would love to see you there. From that, guys, I am training a masonry class, but I will tell you, if you're not subscribing to Alan Rush's Monday Morning Minutes, why not get sales tips, to learn how to run your company better. You got a snap block for all your tools and sweep stuff out there, cameras and all that kind of stuff. And then Bare Hands Pro, built by Chimney Sweeps for camera inspections for your stuff. So guys, this is Chad with Outside the Business Boss, thanking you again for coming to my podcast. And I can't wait to broadcast for you again next week. Thanks a lot.